Welcome back, everybody. Dren 608 Plays. We're playing the Civil War here. The U.S. Civil War by GMT Games. I'm using the 1.16 Vassal module for recreating the game for you for video. I am table space challenged and I don't have a proper setup. Even if I could get it on the table, I don't have the proper setup to record it. So we're going to do it this way. Last turn, we came up a little bit short on our goal here. We're supposed to be at 36 at the end of the last turn, and we were at 35. So now we're going to have to get up to 39. So we're going to have to pick up four more to get to being even. So we've got a ways to go. And as I stated at the end of the last video, my idea for the Confederacy is to simply try to delay Union shenanigans as much as possible. I'm doing a halfway decent job here in the West. I did lose the Mississippi, but I kept this army intact down here, the Army of the Mississippi. I kept it pretty much intact and at relatively full strength so that it can deter the Army of the Tennessee trying to march across central Alabama and into Georgia that way. And we were very successful in thwarting Thomas's Army of the Cumberland coming after us. So we did pretty good there. We are going into a winter turn here, so there's not going to be any reinforcements. So that's going to become an issue probably. All right, so let's go ahead and get started and see what happens. I don't know why I'm over here. Turn 14, here we go. So there's no reinforcements for the Union. I need to place a fort and increase the ironclad counter because I will go up to 7 now. So I do that. And where did I put the fort? I think, yeah, I placed it in Natchez. So that completes what I've been trying to do, which is basically build forts on the victory point cities here to keep them from just being able to wander in and just take them by walking over them. Now they actually have to fight, so that could be a problem for them. Okay, and then we draw our cards, Union cards, here we go. I did not put any back this time. And I managed to get 2 any cards, which was really good for the Union, because that gives them flexibility. Confederates get to place their arsenal, so it's going to be in the 12, which is, there's no legal available place in Arkansas because I control all the victory point, all the resource X's. The rule says if you can't place it, it has to be a reroll, so it gets placed no matter what. So then it went into the 6, which is North Carolina. And I think I dropped it in Salisbury. Reinforcement math. There's my die rolls. I really wish these die rolls would have come up in spring, not in the winter, because the winter is probably not going to give them any strength points anyway. And then the math is 70 build points, 12 arsenals, 4, 4, and 8, the blockade rolls. As I've said in the past, when I roll the dice, it goes top to bottom and over to the and then left to right. So it's 1, 1, and this one was a 5. So 5 plus 6 gave him 11. If you look at the chart, even on a 10 plus, because we're in 1864, he only gets 8 from the blockade. So he came up with 98 minus 10 maintenance was 88 divided by 10 was 8 strength points. You have to subtract 10 strength points for winter. It's equal to 0. You're not allowed to go negative. I guess in the very first edition, the Confederates could actually lose troops and actually have to take them off the board. Which, okay. And then we get Confederate cards. I had 2 sitting there. I got a Trans-Mississippi and a West. Okay, that's the cards. So now we get to go to naval reinforcements. They rolled a 6 in the River flotilla in Virginia, and I put that in Richmond. It is a port, right? Yes, it's got a little anchor there, so it is a port. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't lying there. The end of a navigable river, it does have a little port symbol. What that does is, if I'm defending in here, and he doesn't get rid of this by coming up the river, which he has to either run the guns or take Norfolk out, it'll give me an extra +1 in defense. So that's the idea. Now we're to strategic movement. So standard numbers. I didn't do a lot, I don't think. I'm moving the militia now so I don't forget to do it. River moved Cairo to Memphis. I railed from Baton Rouge to Vicksburg and then railed to the Army of the Tennessee. Railed to Baton Rouge? No, I think I rivered is what I did there. Checking my leaders out on what's coming up here. So lots of things are going to happen in the next couple turns. And what I did is I went ahead and railed in enough troops to maybe pull off some kind of an invasion or something. And I railed Blunt and 1 strength point to the Army. He can actually get there by going over the west here, and I got him down to the Army of the Cumberland, I believe. Showed you how I got there. Just threw him into the counter mix on the card. The Union Armies, Army of the Cumberland is now up to 11, I think. Unless yeah. Army of the Tennessee is at 11, so they're both at 11. And the earlier rail move, as I wanted to put Butler and Burnside, I had him I pulled the wrong leader. So I changed that over here so that, oh, come on. So Burnside is with those troops, not Butler. Butler is a good defensive general, but I really don't want him moving around with those things. Okay. So Navy strategic move. Move to Cairo. I moved this to Natchez to try and protect those. You can't move across in the advanced naval moves, naval rules. If there's a river strength point controlling those hex sides against across the navigable river like that, they can't actually move across it. They have to move across where you're not there. They can move across controlled, but if you actually have a boat sitting on the hex side, they can't move across. So that was me screwing around with that. And then I roaded a strength point over from McLaren to Sedgwick. He had 2, and I wanted to have Sedgwick get back up to as strong a force as I could. And then I got some troops into the strength points in Memphis. I just did some consolidation there. Confederates get to move some stuff around. Okay, so I show the army cards here. Okay, so those are the army cards. As I go to each. All right, it did not record me going around. So what I did is I went around and I just said, here's Gardner here with 1. Price is here with 1. This guy's here with 2. The Union has their army and an extra strength point here has a strength point holding Vicksburg with boats. Memphis is here with 5 and 1. 1's going to be for defending. 5 will be moving out. 1's over here. Okay. I've got 2 here. I'm going to grab one of those probably when I go marching with Curtis. We've got 1 in Wheeler. We've got 3 in Shreveport. I had 1 in Alexandria because I wasn't sure if they could figure out a way to get across here, like with a naval amphibious assault or something, and with the riverboats. And I was like, I don't want to take a chance. Down here, I have 2 strength points with Schofield in the Army of the Southwest, so I'm going to show you the armies again. So Army of the Tennessee has 11. Army of the Southwest has 6. Army of the Cumberland has 11. Army of the Potomac has 17. So, and then show you some more things here. Some garrison type troops here along the coast. I need to get this guy out of there. I do have Ewell to try and hold on to Wilmington. I don't know why I put Breckinridge here. I should have put a defensive general here, but was not paying attention. Chattanooga's okay. I don't have a great, attack with only 4 strength points against 3 and a whole bunch of pluses, so that's not a really good place for me. I do have 4 and 1 here, so I can leave 1 behind at Staunton and maybe move this guy forward. The Army of the Potomac, I already said, is 17. Let's show you the Confederate armies. Army of Tennessee, which is facing off against the Cumberland, only has 8. Army of Mississippi has 9. And Northern Virginia has 13 in Fredericksburg. So if you see anything that I probably should have done differently, let me know in the comments. I'm always looking for strategy type things. I never seem to have enough action points to actually do major invasions and stuff, so it seems to me that the action point limit here favors the Union more than it does the Confederacy. Because if you're doing what I'm doing with the Confederacy, which is why I'm just defending, I don't need to move a lot of troops around except to maybe where you're trying to break through, like I did here at Lynchburg. It's like, I don't really need to do a lot. I just need to sit still. Okay? So we go to leader management. And that's where we'll pick up here in a second. Okay. So when you get down here, we don't have anybody that's believe in the Union Army. I just have to put Greg in here and Pleasanton comes out, which was disappointing. And then in here, you're going to have Bragg come out and Johnston come in. So we'll show you the Army card here. So Johnston takes over the Army of the Tennessee. Bragg is now out of the war. Since there's no way of having leaders get killed in battle, I guess that's okay. I did move Warren out of... God, where did I have him? I don't know where I had Warren. I think I maybe had him in the Army of the Potomac or something. But anyway, I moved him over to Memphis so that I could possibly do a march on Holly Springs and then Corinth. And that was my thought process. Confederates are going to do a rearrange. So I put Claiborne to the Army of Northern Virginia. I was thinking I might use him to defend something, I guess. I don't know why I did that. I should have put him with the army defending over here. This is a strategic mistake on my part. I should have moved him to where Breckinridge was and moved Breckinridge either to the Army of Northern Virginia or out here to one of these other armies. So And now we're at Acton Cycle 1. And let's see what the die roll is. Again, it's always Confederate Union when I'm rolling, so it's going to be a Union 3. And I said, this is probably unwise, but here goes. So I use the free naval AP and an any card to attack the fortress, Fort Fisher at Wilmington. It's down here. This 2.1. So I brought them down, and they auto-intercept, so they get to move their stuff in there. And then they end up with, they get 4 for the fortress, 2 for the ironclad, and 2 for the battery, so they're at an 8. So they're at 2d6. They rolled a 4. That's a 1 diamond. And in the Union, because I used the card, I get to use I have to use a card in order to get these things to do their thing. It's 5 naval strength points from the counters, and I get 7 ocean going for a 12, plus 1 for the leader. So it's 2d6 plus 1. And I did a 6 plus 1, which was a 7. 1 star. So I technically won the battle. However, losses have to. So I lost an NPC, and it gets a hit. On a 4, 5, or 6, it's damaged and not sunk. Rolled a 1, so it is sunk. And the battery does not retreat from that space, from what I understand, because it's a physical move into the space. It's only allowed to move via like river or strategic movement or rail. Then I brought my first action point is for the amphibious assault on the fort by Burnside using another any card. So Confederate auto-intercepts from the port if they want. He would defend at 1 column plus 4, so a minimum of a star, maximum of a 1 diamond. Why would he be plus? Oh, because of the battery? He'd be 1, and he gets 2. He'd be plus 3. I don't know why I gave him plus 4. 3 plus 4, 1 general, 2 cards, and 1 naval assist. Minimum of a 1 loss, maximum of a 1 S, 1 star. And I can rail at an SP or 2 to Wilmington if it fails. So I went ahead and did it. Battery would have been lost if I didn't do it. I don't get the battery because plus 1 because I need a naval strength point of 1 or more. I think we take the fortress loss. I don't think the Union has to commit the card until combat is joined. Thought about it. Still be a 0 column plus 2 or a 1 column plus 3. I went for it anyway to force to burn his card. So he did that. We burned the card. The cards are burnt off camera now. You see me, I should move the any card over there at some point here. So 1d6 plus 3 rolled very low, so it's only a star. Union is 1d6 plus 4. So I got a 4 plus 4 is an 8, which is a... Oh, that was a displacement of the leader. And I take the fort. Can't invade again to get Wilmington, but at least cut down the blockade number. Yeah, because I used all my strength points to invade. You're only allowed to invade with 3 there per action phase, so I couldn't do it. But the North Atlantic down to 1 now on its die rolls. I have 2 action points left. With no cards, attacks are not going to go well for the Union. But I think I decided to do this. Army of the Southwest goes 1, 2, 3, 4. I tried to flip. This counter is defined incorrectly. When you try to put down control, it actually puts down a second control instead of... And it doesn't have, if you look, it does not have the flip like this one does. This one says flip here. This particular counter doesn't have that, so it was defined incorrectly. Must have been added at a later time or something. So it doesn't have the ability to actually get, you place a control marker, it does both, and it's just a definition problem. I know how to fix it, but so be aware of that. Sometimes these armies might flip when you hit flip to think they're going to get their high morale, that it's actually placing a control marker. So I had to clean up the control markers. Banks move forward, and then Sherman's going to go ahead and advance. We're going to move along the southern coast here and see what happens. They avoid it +2. 8, they did so they say, nope. We're going to move 1 up to Meridian, north of Meridian. And then I figured I'd keep track of my movement points. I have 4 left. So I went and tried to go after him up there. And Army, Missouri, avoid +2, which I made. So I went back on the rail line. And then with Sherman, I said, well, Sherman's going to go ahead and move into Meridian, trying to get his movement points used up. So I went ahead and tried to do the intercept. I made it, so he has to attack me. And then we go to a battle. Put this down here. It's the Army of the Mississippi versus Army of the Tennessee. So he's at 9 and I'm at 11. And I think I get this wrong. Yeah, I see. I said 8 +2, which was incorrect. I got a 10 is a 1 star, but if you look, he should have been on 9, which still would have been a 10. So he should have taken 2 loss on me. It's 3 for my generals. I got an 11, so I did really good. He got hit hard. And by the 11, it's 2 star. No, it's a 14. So 14 is 3 damage, and he's going to be demoralized. Now I think I'm taking off the Union here. Where's the Army of the Tennessee? I think I'm taking down my Union. You know, it was a closely fought battle, so I get high morale on me for winning. I think I corrected this. I don't know why I did an undo there. Yeah. So it was a 2 loss on the Army of Tennessee. So I had to took my 3 losses there, and I had to take 2 losses here. So now I'm down to 9 and he's at 6. Still won because I did 3, but took more losses than what I had listed on there. Now I think I'm on the map doing what I have to do. And I had the Army of the Mississippi retreat back here. Did I really do that? Yes. I was trying to figure out where to retreat to. Do I want to go down this way towards Mobile? Or do I want to retreat? So I do not have 2-to-1 odds, so I can't keep moving. I can't like capture Meridian. I can just sit in the hex. See, I could go down this way towards Columbia and maybe trying to circle back to get to Jackson. I could go down the rail, across the river to defend Alabama. So I was trying to show the places I could go. And I decided that I'd go by the river. That's 3rd, so Confederates get to go. So the Union's moving in the south, along the southern coast, somewhat. I've decided to go 1, 2, 3, and sit there. 2 rail moves, 1 strength point from Richmond and 1 from Fredericks to Wilmington. I think that's supposed to be Fredericksburg. And then I spent an east card to entrench them. And I'm going to save all my other cards for other action cycles. So we're at action cycle 2. Okay, so here's the die roll. It's 4-2, so it's Confederates get the initiative with 2 differential, so we switched that. I forgot to move it last turn. And I'm like, I don't know what's best here for the CSA. I really don't. I prefer moving second so I can counter whatever the Union's doing. So I figured I'd take the DM off the Army so I don't lose extra strength points. Then I spent my second action point to do training and put the strength point in the Army of the Confederacy, the Army of the Mississippi, so I get back on the 2-die table. Seemed like the thing to do. So they're at least on the roll 2d6 versus Sherman if he comes for them. So yeah, that was the idea. At least I'm on the same table as him. I'm rolling 2 dice. Okay. I could drop a west card and move Buckner to threaten supply to Sherman. But I thought maybe I'd better use that west thing to start a fort here because I've got 4 build points here, and that's 4 victory points for the Union, so I think I want to make Macon hard to take. So tell me if that's wrong, guys. Then I went ahead and dropped an any card to get this guy up on a rail line. And I moved the militia down here to guard the fort. Then I went here because I think it's 3 movement points either way. So it's 3 movement points to Savannah or Charleston, next AC. Could go farther with rail move, Wilmington or Madison, Florida. So I just didn't know what he was going to do. Union go with 2 action points. I have no idea what I'm doing. I think yes. Where's the Army of the Southwest? Oh, I took the Army of the Southwest off because it was getting cumbersome to carry him around with it. And I just moved forward. Banks moves on Columbia with an automatic victory. 1, 2, gets displaced. 3, and then 4 to there. So I'm moving on Mobile by a land and trying to keep him from being able to really reinforce it unless he wants to give me Pensacola or something like that. He's got to give me something if he wants to try and defend Mobile with like real infantry. He could rail. He doesn't have anybody really close to rail because you can only move 12 during action cycles on the rail, so it's a little bit of a problem for him. Then what I did is I moved McClellan in and did he's moved 2 to move there, and then 2 more to do the entrenchment, so that I got everybody in there entrenched. We're on to action cycle 3. Okay, let's see what the die roll is here. This is me moving the thing up forward. 6-1. You can't get a bigger split. And unfortunately, it's in the Confederates' favor. And the reason why I say it's unfortunate is because now the Confederates have to spend their 5. And then the Union's going to get to do 5, and like, depending on what the Confederates do, they can wander around them, they can mess things up, they can do all sorts of things. So I was at a real loss here. So, like I said, I have no idea what to do with the Confederates here. It's a whole lot of action points and not a lot of action I can really take. So I think... So I wanted to stay there facing Grant coming along with 17, which he's probably going to try and do. Whether he goes around the river or comes across the river, whatever it is, by having him there with a +2 in my army, 13 plus 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 for the fort. So I'd be 13 plus 8. If you look on the charts, I don't know if I said this in the thing. That's me talking about that army, so I'm going to kind of talk to you about these. So here I have 8, so I would get to use 2 guys, so I'd be at +4 defense. Okay, with Lee, if he attacks me in Fredericksburg, I'm at +8, and on the 13 column at +8. The worst I can get is an 11 if I roll 3 ones, and I don't think. Yeah, I lost a battle with the Army of Virginia against Meade, I think, earlier. So I don't have that bonus of re-rolling ones. So I could roll 3 ones, and I would get an 11, which is a 2 loss. Average die roll is like around a 9 or a 10, and if you add 8 to that, I would be up here on the 3 loss. So I would inflict damage, a lot of damage on the Army of the Potomac. Problem is, they have 17. And if you look at their army, they have 17 plus 3, 4? 17 plus 4, they roll a 3, they would be like me. They'd be, 1 star or whatever. But average roll on 2 dice is 7. 7 plus 8 is 15. So I would get a 3 star with 17. No, it was the average roll of 3 dice, so it's 9. So if you figure it average, 9 plus 8 or 10 plus 8 would get him up around the 3 damage. If you roll the same thing here and I get a +4, it would come up to like a 14, which would also be a 3. So I could do some major damage to the Army of Northern Virginia, and at this point, the Union just wants to wear down Confederate strength points. And the Confederates are trying to conserve them for the last, 4 turns. You want to have as many strength points as possible so that when you have to fight those battles, you can stop them. Keep them from advancing, which is the idea. So we're going to see what happens here. I'm like, how can I entice him to attack me? And like thinking about all the places I could go. I was updating my victory points there because I did take Columbia. But I do have a strength point that's close, and I could get him like all the way to Madison. So I decided to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12. And it's like, thank God for the new railroads that are working now. And I dug in the west. I can't defend Mobile and central Alabama, so I'm going to try to. Mobile is 2 victory points, but here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, there's like 10 up here. There's 2 there. If he wants to keep marching across here, he's got to take out this fort because otherwise I control the river. And he can't really get across. Actually, I guess he could move across. Would cost you 2 extra movement points. I guess. I think that's how the rule is. You can only move with like 1 strength point, and it costs 2 extra movement points to move across. So you could probably get across here and capture this this thing here. But you wouldn't control the river, so you could still go up the river like to Selma or whatever and get into supplies. So you really need to take the fort out to just stop this. The nice thing is that since this is let's zoom this in. This is something I didn't think to do, which I got to remember to do before the beginning of the next turn. If I do take both of these, the +2, see it says for mobile. So since I controlled mobile, this is technically close. So he does not get these 2, and I did not move the Gulf Coast down 2, which I should do. The Gulf Coast should be at 1 as well. So I will fix that in the next turn. Okay? Before I start turn 15, I will fix that. I just didn't realize I should do that. But that is the rule. If you take the port that the fort is guarding, or you take the fort, you close the port, and therefore this this +2 doesn't work because it's got to go into mobile, not there. Which I thought was interesting, but that's a game mechanic. I thought that this one should be, you'd need to stop it from going into both. I think both of them should be listed for this fort, but they aren't. Okay, I think I'm just digging things in here. So I dug in both places and said, come get me. I still have 2 to spend. So I used the TM card over here to move Wheeler. I don't know why I did that. I still have 2 points to spend. And then what I did is I put Wheeler there. Because I did not, if I go across the river, I can't trace an LOC across, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4 to get to there. Then I thought if I go 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, and it's like, no, 3, and it just turned out that this was probably the best place to go. I could go over to Grand Gulf, because 1, 2, 3, it would cost me 2 to cross, 4, 5, and it cost me 2 to get in here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would be in Gulf Coast, but I would not have an LOC because the Union controls these. I would be out of supply. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, because I can't control this river with these. And I'm 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I guess no, 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I could have done it. I guess I was mistaken. So this is a mistake on my part. I could have actually gone there and done something. I'm going to scroll around the map on the video for you. It's like I couldn't think of anything else better to do here. I mean, these guys all need to be sitting on the ports, right? These guys are entrenched. We're entrenched at Lynchburg. We've got to basically sit at Fredericksburg because we can't really go gallivanting off. You know, I'm sitting at Norfolk. The Union is pretty well entrenched here and has a big army staring at me. And I've got this army that's going to probably try to do a flanking move. So I'm going to have to react to that later. AP Hill really doesn't have the strength to go gallivanting off to Knoxville and be able to guard Chattanooga too. And about the only thing I could think of, you know, I thought about maybe doing something over here, but I'm like, why would I leave? You know, these are all Confederate railings anyway, so I don't need to go anywhere. So it didn't make a lot of sense to me. 3 AP spent. Did I move my training up too? And I moved training up too. Again, trying to get that extra strength point that I might need near the end of the game here. So that was what I came up with. If you saw something that I probably should have done, the only thing I can think of is something I do next turn, which was just to send a strength point via rail down 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. I could go down to there, which is probably something I should have done because it would have kept Sherman having to deal with that. But I didn't. Okay. So I did do as I suspected as the Confederates. I invaded here so that I can march on Tallahassee next turn. First AP was the Inf to St. Mark's. There's nothing defending it, so you just get to land. And then here, I took out Schofield. I went 1, 2, 3. Then I thought about it, and I said, you know, I don't care. You can't intercept across the non-bridged river. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, I went 1, 2, 3 to make that be controlled. So if he wants to make that controlled on his half of the turn, he has to spend an extra movement point to do that. So I showed you how I did that, okay? I checked the intercept rules there. That's why I know that that works. And I left one strength point behind, which is probably the wrong thing to do, but that's what I did. Okay. Then I moved, did my free naval move. I just moved a strength point down there to help make him have to go around to get into Baton Rouge. Just trying to make movement hard. Now I'm going to try to force Lee to move. I go to the east. So the third AP is going to be Sedgwick, and 4 strength points is going to go to Gordonsville. He controls Gordonsville, and then moves on to, or Charlottesville, and then moves on to Gordonsville. So I've got my LOC back, so he can move. I mean, next turn he can move this guy up and take it away from me, but I can try to intercept it. Also, all these shenanigans here in the east. So I'm trying to outflank him at Fredericksburg. And then I moved the Army of the Potomac went 1 out here to the side. Just to show you, I think I went a little fast. That's 1, 2. Here we go. Really going to Richmond. It's exactly 5 movement points away. If you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could possibly hit that if Lee does nothing and stays in his fort. I would have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I would be just barely in range of an LOC. Okay. And he would be basically annihilated because I would have more than 4 to 1 odds. And I would take Richmond, period. It just would be gone because there's nothing there. It's considered a 0 strength point. I have 17. It would be an auto victory. Richmond would go down. That would give me 4 for Richmond, I think it is. 4 for Richmond, 1 for the Arsenal. Make his riverboat go away. I mean, it's not good if I end up there. I mean, he can try and cut my supply and whatever, but at this point, I don't care. I can march 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. March on Norfolk with enough strength to make it an automatic victory and still hold Richmond. So, yeah, that was the idea, was to literally onto Richmond this time. So it's 3 movement points to get to Richmond because Sedgwick's move I will have an LOC. That was me talking there. If I intercept here, I'd probably stomp Grant's move, but if I lose a knit the next turn, what is it? If I lose a knit next AC, I could lose either Fredericksburg or Richmond. So I was like, eh. If I maneuver, I can only get in front of Grant because you can't maneuver away from where he's moving. I can always react back into Fredericksburg if he decides to attack there. +4 for Lee and a cavalry. I rolled a 4. +4 is 8. And I missed it. This is bad. By missing it, he's now ahead of me. The intention is clear, going for Richmond, so I need to intercept at this point. I was going to try to move here first, and then when he moved in, back up into Richmond with full strength army. But since he's already made it to here, when he goes here, I have to intercept, because if I maneuver to here and then he moves to there, best I can do is maneuver to here and then he attacks Richmond. That's very iffy. There's a -1 here for the river, and I've already missed once. So I'm like, I think I need to try to intercept. And I did. Got in front of him. So I have to fight him in the open, which I didn't want to do, but we have to do that. So it's the Army of Northern Virginia against the Army of the Potomac with Grant in charge. I don't have any cards with the Union, so this was... Oh, I started to roll 2 dice, and it's supposed to be 3 dice. So it's 5, 6, 13 plus 6 for his generals. 3d6 plus 6 was a 12 total. You go over here, 12 total on this one is a 2 loss, so it did 2 damage to the Army of the Potomac. Yeah, I hit the 2d6 the first time. 12 on 13 column is 2 loss for the Union. Then for the Union, I rolled 3, 3, and 6. That's a total of 12 plus 3, or plus 4. Yeah, 2, 3, 4. for generals with no cards left. So 3d6 was equal to 16. And 16 over here, you can see is a 3-star. So he's DM'd because I won. And it's a heavy damage. So I retreat 2 hexes and is considered a closely run battle. So the Army of the Potomac got high morale because we both rolled 3 dice. So I think I do my damages here. Oh, I'm doing backwards. Sorry. Grant is stocked and not DM'd. So then I do my moves here. So I had to go back into Richmond, but Grant is stopped right there. I wanted to make sure I didn't have any. Hurt the Confederates a bit. Since they went first, they have to hope to win enough to get Lee at least undemoralized. The Unions still have 1 action point left. And then it was, oh yeah, Banks has to go towards Mobile to threaten that. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4. And there I am. I'm 1 move away from taking Mobile. Mobile. I wanted to make sure I had my control in there. So I can take Mobile next action cycle. And yeah, I think we're on to action cycle 4. Okay, so here's the last action phase. And it was a Union. 1 differential is 1 AP per theater. No one has cards left. So if you look at, nobody has any cards to do any shenanigans. So it's just 1 per side. So Grierson moved to Trans-Mississippi to, again, I'm just trying to get rid of towns. I don't want him to have free naval. I didn't see one. If there's a naval you think I should have done, guys, let me know. I think this is me just kind of looking around the board a little bit. Oh, and then Banks said, well, we only got 1 AP. Let's go take Mobile. It's an automatic victory, so I was thinking I should have gone this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that lets me have that connection. Ultimately, the idea is maybe to hit, if I can get a couple of these towns, right? Then I have a rail line to Mobile, and if I can take the fort, then I would have the ability to to supply him that way. If nothing else, he can go right now he's going back to Jackson, but he needs to. We need to get some of these things taken care of so I can go back through Columbus and Magnolia and then down here. I need to get this cleaned up too, so I have a rail line. I need to get some rail lines opened up. I'm falling behind on my rail line stuff. And I didn't have the movement points. I was thinking, oh, I could go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. I probably could have gone there, but I wouldn't have controlled Mobile. So I'd had to leave somebody behind, and I could have gone to 3, 4. No, it's +2. I think it's +2. What's the terrain effect? +2 if enemy controlled, and a maximum of 1 strength point. So I could have +2. So I see I was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I don't have 5. I only have 4. So that's why I went this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll get Mobile at the end of the turn, but that's fine. That was the West AP. The East. We already know what I did in the Trans-Mississippi. So in the East, I went. So I went and did this with Grant. I said, okay, I can get Vicksburg. So it's an automatic victory. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. And I was like, should I attack Richmond. I'm only on the 15 column, so I am down to here, and I'm only +4. So if I roll 3 1s, which I could re-roll, so let's say 3 2s, which would be 6, +4 would be a 10. That's my worst result, is probably a 1 star. My best result, if I rolled, well, if I rolled 18, I'd get a 4. But most likely I'm going to get like a 2, right? And then if you look at the Confederate Army, they're only on the 10 column, so they're over here, but they are +2, 4, 6. The fort here, I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see how bad this really is. The fort here is a +6, so that's +12, and I have a boat, so that's +13, which means if I roll a 2 at +13, I would be a 15. So he's going to do a 3-star to me no matter what I do. He's going to do a 3-star. And I have to get to a total of 16, which means I have to roll 12 on 3 dice or better just to get a tie. And I'd have to get even higher to win. So I thought maybe not the best idea in the world. We know Lee's not going to run away from that, right? So we said, no, thank you. I said +11, but it's actually +13. I was not counting correctly because he's got 3 2s. Oh no, he can only use 2. He only used 2 guys. That's right. So it's 2, 4, and then 6. So it's 10 plus 1 for the boat is 11. So he's very likely to get. And they go last, which means they could possibly do something very nasty to me. So I decided to just. And I didn't want to get. I didn't want to lose my ability there, in case I needed it for him trying to do shenanigans where I had to go around him and I can rail in reinforcements now because I've got this and this here, so I can actually rail things in from Washington. And Lee is staying put, so we went ahead and just made the control of Hanover. And then I said, I think that's it. I got an extra victory point there. I said I should have left a strength point behind because it wouldn't have mattered. 14 or 15 is the same. So he moved Beauregard back with his 2 strength points. Mishler went to Lynchburg. Beauregard rail moved to Petersburg. Wheeler trying to cross this Mississippi River and try to run towards Jackson to kind of screw up my supply line and grab back a victory point. So as he goes across, Schofield can try to intercept at +1. He rolled a 12. He didn't even need it. So he got there. Wheeler is 1 + 1, so D6 + 1. Rolled a 5, so he got a 6. That's a 1 loss. Schofield is on the 1 column +2. He gets 1 for being the general and 1 for him crossing the river. I rolled a 1. So a 3 is a diamond, but Wheeler can't move anymore because he's not 2 to 1 at the start of the battle, and he is technically out of supply, but he's not isolated. So he's out of supply because he can't. You don't control these things. So you can't cross the river. You can't cross this river because he doesn't control the navigable river. So he's out of supply from that standpoint, that he can't get to, a point that he needs to get to. But I think I was wrong because he could have gone 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 to Philadelphia, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, and then down here, and he would have made it to Selma. So he technically is not isolated. That'll be another thing that I fix before the next game. I put that on him, but that's incorrect. So I can't trace back this way, but I could trace this way because I don't control that city. I needed to control Monticello too. And then I would have it isolated. So basically I need to get somebody like sitting right here. Or at Grand Gulf. Something like that. So, what to do in the west? So I railed one strength point from Holly Springs down to Canton. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. And I couldn't do that. So I have to fix that as well. That is illegal. Because I did a rail. So I have a couple things to fix here before the next turn. I have to do another thing in the west. I don't know what, but not what I did there. Because Beauregard went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I used up both of my rail points there. You only get rail 2 in any given action phase. And I forgot about that, and so I railed this guy out of Holly Springs, so he can't actually be here. I don't know what else I would have done. I mean, I don't want to give up Pensacola. So that's a problem. I did that wrong. So there's a couple of mistakes here. He's not isolated, so I can take that off. This guy can't be here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have him move 3 back to Corinth. So that I have less likelihood of, I mean, I might lose 1 here or 2. I mean, he could have moved 1, 2, 3 to Granada. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could leave 1 guy there and move him 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's threatening to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's threatening to get to Jackson. So that was the idea that I wanted to do. So I think I'm just going to leave 1 strength point in Holly Springs, and I'm going to move the leader to here to fix this. Okay? So I will fix that here at the end. You'll see me fix that here in a second. I contract the control. I get control of that because I'm at the end of the turn there. I forgot to do the supply saves. This doesn't matter because he's not isolated. I was wrong. And I figured it out is a no by rule definition because he has LOC out to these. So he wasn't isolated. He's not even actually technically out of supply. He is in LOC, but he's not in full supply. So he's not even, he doesn't even have this on him. So I'm going to take that away. Now back to the end phase. Making sure I get all my controls in here. So that's another victory point. And then Mobile gives me 2 victory points. So I made it up to 40 victory points. I get Gordonsville under control. And forgot to put the control marker there. So we have control of that. And then, not sure what I'm checking here. No naval repair. Their completion roll was a 5. I looked around the map, and there's only 1 in Texas, so he gets completed. Galveston has 8 strength points right now. They have 2 for the river, 2 for the. Oh no, they only get. I think they only get 2 for the fort. So they're probably actually at 6. Because it's these things are 4s. A regular fort is just 2, no matter how good the fort is. So it's at 6 for the naval defense, and then even if the Union were to pound it and take it out, I probably would be able to save the ironclad there, so he would be able to get an extra +1 in defense. He'd be like +5. And if I get a strength point down there, which I might do, I might build one of my Trans-Mississippi down in Galveston just to hang on to it. Because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 9 victory points sitting out here in the Trans-Mississippi, and 10 if you count Brashear, but I think McDowell will come and get Brashear pretty soon. So that's a pretty good solid block. My biggest problem is trying to make sure that the Army of the Tennessee doesn't go wandering off, but we need to fix this stuff here. Northwest Tennessee, taking Mobile, overland, and pushing on central Alabama. Fredericksburg, and I'm next to Richmond. Now will come the attrition that attempts to encircle Richmond to get it out of supply and maybe even isolate it. Union are 40 victory foot, so a bit ahead, but if we don't get a high AP count next turn, could stall out again. Really comes down to how many action points you get. Need to consolidate the supply to Sheridan here a bit, but I think maybe let's not hold the VPs. Just hold the VP. Sherman has an LOC via Banks advance. Yeah, that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, 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 boom. So I have an LOC, but I really don't want him to get Jacksonville. So that's the end of turn 14. Move it up forward, move that there. And that's the end of the log file. Now we're going to fix our problems. First of all, this guy here, we're going to take that away because he's really not isolated. He had 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Down here. So he had an LOC. So he was not isolated or anything. That was wrong. Also, this guy can't be here. So I said what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you that the leader moved him 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's going to be there. He is threatening to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and take Jackson with an infantry. And then that would let Wheeler go running around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He could get all the way to Columbia and just totally destroy everything that I'm doing. So that is a problem. I'm going to have to do some rail moves here. There's going to be river moves into Vicksburg, ocean moves into New Orleans, and then a road move probably out of New Orleans, like up to Columbia, and then some rail moves into Jackson and Hazelnut and Magnolia, and then just kind of cut him off from everything and make him fight us, hopefully. And I'll get the leader back at Natchez. So he might be able to take Grand Gulf, but I don't really care at this point. So we've got to do some serious moving around here. I might be able to ocean this in here and then river it up here and then get some stuff to come out and chase down Wheeler. So Wheeler's going to be a problem. But we have corrected the errors. This is fixed. This is fixed. What was the other error? There was another error I did, but I don't remember what it was. Oh God, I don't remember what the other error is. So this guy couldn't move down here. He did his thing, but he wasn't isolated. I thought there was a third error, but I'm not seeing it. So I'm not making any progress on like getting to Chattanooga and cutting across Georgia this way. So I'm going to have to try and push this way and this way. I'm going to have Thomas try to win this freaking battle, which he's doing terrible at, which is driving me nuts. So we're going to have to try and push things in there in the spring. I don't know what I swear I made another mistake somewhere, but I can't think of what I did wrong. So, well, that's it for now. I think that's it. So, yeah. Oh, that's what I didn't do. This here, because I captured Mobile, this is closed. So this +2 doesn't exist anymore. So the Gulf is actually down to 1. That was the third error. Because if you take the port on the land that the fort is protecting, it goes away as well. It's considered closed. I don't control this fort, so it still has control over the navigable river here. Okay, so it costs me 2 to cross this river. And what I'm planning on doing is doing something with Sherman here, if I can, to kind of go 1, 2, 3, and then it's only 1 because I control that one, and it could be 4, 5, or even 4, 5 this way. But just kind of get somebody up here to control this, so I have a river route to try and get around to Demopolis. And then who knows, maybe I'll try to do an invasion here at this fort. I don't think so, though. I would have to build a fort here. And I think if I can't build a fort here because I don't have full supply. Shoot, I'd have to run the guns with my naval, which I might do. If I run the guns with the naval points and get to here with one of them, then I would control the river and you would not, I think. I'll check the rules on that. But I really need to try and start snatching victory points. I'm not doing a real good job of it right now. Okay? All right. If you like what you're seeing, please hit the like button. Please leave comments and share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Help small channels like myself keep going. And yeah, we'll be back with turn 15 next time. I'm Dren608. Until we meet again, stay safe and bye-bye.